Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our board meeting tonight. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Megan, will you call the roll?
Yes, Trustee Lautner.
Here.
Trustee Zora.
Here.
Trustee Council.
Here.
Trustee Sheehan.
Here.
Trustee Caputo.
Here.
Trustee Diaferio.
Here.
President DeCipio.
Here.
A quorum is present, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Before we move on to public participation, I just want to introduce two individuals that came to our meeting tonight. They're actually residents of our community, and we're so grateful to have them come in and see what the village is all about. And it's Judge Patrick Powers and Susana Guzman Dominguez. Welcome and thank you. So feel free to leave when you want, though, but we're welcome. We're glad that you're here. Thank you, Judge. Okay, public participation of agenda-related items. Would anyone care to address the board? Moving on to consent agenda, Megan?
Thank you, Mr. President. The items on this evening's consent agenda are as follows. A, approval of minutes. 1, Village Board meeting, February 24th, 2026. 2, Village Board work session, March 10th, 2026. B, action, code amendments. Motion to approve an ordinance amending Section 150.07, Public Safety, Section 150.11, Building Permits, Section 150.16, Stop Work Orders, Section 150.21, Rules Adopted by Reference, Section 150.22, Violation Penalties of Chapter 150, Building Regulations, and Section 154.20, Requirements for all developments of Chapter 154, Floodplain and Stormwater Management, to Title 15, Land Usage of the Grange Park Municipal Code relative to the adoption of certain updates to those sections. C, action, accounts payable and payroll summary. Motion 1, to authorize the president and chairperson of the finance committee to sign the register for bills and authorize the treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in payment of operating bills and salaries as itemized in the check registers. And motion 2, to authorize the village treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in the payment of payroll and other bills that become due between this date and the next village board meeting, with subsequent approval of the payroll register and voucher register by the Board of Trustees at its next meeting.
Motion to approve consent agenda is presented.
Motion.
The motion is second. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner.
Yes.
Trustee Zora.
Yes.
Trustee Council.
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan.
Yes.
Trustee Caputo.
Yes.
Trustee Diaferio.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
And the president on the consent agenda.
President DeCipio.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, moving on to village manager report. Julia?
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I have just one item to report on this evening, and that is to introduce everyone to See-Click Fix, a new way to report concerns to the village. Last week, the village launched See-Click Fix, a new platform for reporting non-emergency concerns such as potholes, sidewalk issues, streetlight outages. Residents can submit these requests through the See-Click Fix mobile app or via the village's website. So again, this is via the village's website or through the mobile app. The system allows users to select a location, provide details. We can, participants who wish to report a concern can optionally upload photos. We've already received one, and receive real-time updates on the status of their request. Users receive notifications as the request is reviewed and addressed. No account is required to submit a request, and the platform is available 24/7. This tool, again, is intended for non-emergency issues only. Emergencies should continue to be reported to the village via 911. Staff announced the launch in e-briefs last Friday and will continue to promote that platform to encourage resident engagement and improve service response and tracking. And unless if there are any questions regarding that update, that concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Julia. Okay, moving on to Administration Committee, Trustee Council.
Thank you, President DeCipio. The administration report is as follows. 2026 road bond referendum update. based on unofficial results from the March 17 general primary election. The 2026 road bond referendum was passed with strong support, receiving 79.27 approval, with all precincts reporting. Thanks to the residents who participated. Once results are certified by Cook County, the village will begin the process of issuing bonds and advancing the road improvement program. Design and engineering for the first group of streets will soon be underway, with construction expected to begin in late summer or early fall. Additional information is available on the village's website. Residents may also contact Village Hall at 708-354-0225 with any questions. Community Volunteer Day. The village's annual Community Volunteer Day will take place Saturday, May 16th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Volunteers will provide assistance to older individuals in the community who need help with basic lawn care and quote-unquote spring cleaning. This day of service is a great opportunity for individuals, families, and organizations to support their neighbors and make a positive mark on the community. Visit the village's website to register for the event or to register for volunteer assistance. And you can also contact Deputy Village Manager Maggie Jar for more information. Save the date, 60526 day. Mark your calendars for June 5, 2026, 60526. A once-in-a-lifetime date that matches LaGrange Park's very own zip code. The village looks forward to highlighting the many fun and creative ways local organizations, businesses, and residents may choose to recognize 60526 Day throughout the community. Stay tuned for more details on how you can join in celebrating all things LaGrange Park. Village News. Stay up to date on important local news by signing up for the village's weekly electronic newsletter, e-briefs. It includes updates on construction projects, community events, and more. Visit the village's website to subscribe and to follow the village's Facebook page for real-time updates, announcements, and community highlights. Stay informed and connected. And that concludes my report for administration. I do have one question. I don't know if this could go to Julia, but did we ever get a vote count per capita for the referendum? Like a resident, like a resident tally, how many people actually came out to vote for the referendum?
We do not have that, but we can certainly request that.
Okay, thank you. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Council. Moving on, Building and Zoning Committee, Trustee Zora.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to report the Building Department activities for February 2026. 30 building permits were issued in February 2026 compared to 34 issued in February 2025. Year to date, the Building Department issued 71 permits, which is slightly more than the 57 permits issued at this time last year. Estimated construction costs for last month were $608,465, which is less than the just over $2.4 million that was realized in February 2025. Permit fees collected last month were $11,271, which was less than the $44,968 of permit fees collected in February 2025. The decrease in construction costs and permit fees from last year was attributed to a scheduled renovation project valued at $1.12 million in 2025. 82 building inspections were conducted this past month compared to 73 in February 2025. 78 conducted inspections were approved, while 4 inspections were not approved. Year to date, the department has conducted 221 building inspections, which is slightly more than the 168 building inspections completed at this time last year. A total of 4 new code enforcement cases were recorded last month. 3 of the 4 were closed out, while 1 is currently still active. And that is all I have to report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Zora. Moving on to Engineering and Capital Projects, Trustee Diaferio.
Thank you, President DeCipio. Here's the Engineering and Capital Projects Summary Report for February of 2026. Item 1, Scottdale Headwall Replacement Project. The village opened bids on February 10th, 2026 with a low bid of $109,341.48, being from Martam Construction, Inc. of Elgin. The project award was made at the February Village Board meeting. Construction is anticipated to be completed this spring. Item 2, design work continued on the following capital infrastructure projects. Number 1, Central Area Sewer Separation Project, which includes storm sewers, underground detention, a pump station, water main improvements, and roadway restoration. Number 2, 2026 Park Road Roadway Improvements Project, which will complete work on the 300 and 400 blocks of Park Road. Item 3, North Village Hall Green Parking Lot Project, which will replace the existing pavement with a permeable paver parking lot through a partnership agreement with the MWRD. Item 4, Newberry Beach Parking Lot Project, which will expand the existing parking lot south of the 31st Street from 11 to 22 spaces. Final item, 2025-2026 roadway patching program construction is anticipated to start in the second week of April and be completed before the end of the fiscal year. And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Diaferio. Public Safety Committee, Trustee Caputo.
Yes, thank you, President DeCipio. The total number of crimes reported for the first 2 months of 2026 are 37% higher, with 54 reported in 2026 compared to 37 in 37 for 2025. Traffic enforcement is 768 total tickets issued through February of 2026. Overall police activity for the month of February is at 1,246 total incidents. Of those total 1,246 total incidents, 40 were assists to the fire department, 259 were self-initiated building or park checks, 379 were traffic stops, and 119 were closed home checks. This is a 19% increase in activity from February of 2025. Department members attended 382 and a half hours of training, along with the completion of required monthly online training and Lexipol training bulletins. Of note, several staff participated in high-risk traffic stop training, which was taught by in-house instructors. Commander Griffin began his 12-week Northwestern Center for Public Safety staff in command class. OIC Burry, Officer Burry completed his test for the NIPAS EST team. Deputy Chief Morocco and Detective Spurgish attended the Illinois Special Olympics kickoff in Bloomington Normal. The chief held a quarterly meeting with the police department admin staff to discuss current and upcoming changes in Illinois legislation along with departmental changes. And mark your calendars and do not miss out on the upcoming police department special events. First item is the Drug Take Back Day, which is April 25th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Village Hall. The Grange Park Police Department, in coordination with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, will host the National Drug Take Back Day. This program offers a safe, convenient, and responsible means of disposing of unwanted or expired medicines. Please note, only drugs or pill form will be accepted, no liquids. Please empty all drugs from their original container, bottles, or blister packs and place them in a sealed baggie for drop-off. Can't make it on the 25th? A permanent drop box is located in the Village Hall lobby with drop-off access during regular business hours from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And please follow the police department on the Village of Grange Park Facebook page. A friendly reminder about securing one's personal property at all times. Please lock your vehicles and residence, especially during overnight hours. And if you are going on vacation, please utilize the new online vacation watch portal, frontlinepss.com/LaGrange Park, or log onto the village website and access the portal under the police department page. If you do not have internet access, feel free to fill out a vacation watch card at the police department between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. And as always, please contact us if you have any questions or further information. Let me get the next item here. Fire department report is for the month of February. EMS incidents this month, 176. There have been 382 year-to-date compared to 381 year-to-date in 2025. Fire rescue incidents this month were 59. There have been 128 year-to-date compared to 101 in 2025. And fire training took place at Plymouth Place, reviewing tactics and strategy for fighting fires on upper floors using standpipe hose systems. Additional training took place during the month jointly with LaGrange and Western Springs Fire Department personnel reviewing search techniques. A few personnel also participated in training in a vacant office building in Hinsdale. Some of our personnel participated in the Heroes versus Heroes basketball game against the Mighty Patriots Special Olympics team at Park Junior High. Later in the month, personnel assisted with Special Olympics pool, polar plunge at the school. The engine and ambulance 1 to 1214 was replaced this month. This was based upon mechanical issues taking place, potential unknown further engine damage, and the amount of use it has seen. It was determined that this was the more cost-effective to do it at this point, as we plan on keeping the vehicle for another 8 more years. Staff met with a representative from Zoll to review options for purchasing new cardiac monitors. Fire prevention staff witnessed hydrostatic pressure testing of the new fire sprinkler piping for the new addition at Dubac Electric, and firefighter EMT Ken Marciniak was awarded the Firefighter of the Year award for 2025 at the Fire Department's Foundation's annual appreciation dinner. I have a few items of interest. On Thursday, February 19th at 5:27 p.m., we responded to a house fire at 1034 Barnsdale Road. Upon arrival, heavy fire was visible from the second floor deck and wall. Personnel were able to quickly knock down the fire, get inside, and extinguish remaining fire hidden in the walls and ceiling. Several smoke alarms were sounding, and one occupant in the building at the time of the fire was able to escape. On February 23rd at 2:30 a.m., we responded to an engine to assist Maywood with a structural fire, and on February 27th at 6:27 a.m., we responded to responded with an investigator to assist Lyons at a house fire. And the last item is on February 27th at 11:01 p.m. We responded to smoke coming from a transformer in the 1200 block of Homestead, and also a fire alarm and smoke at ComEd substation. We met with ComEd on the scene, and they worked to energize overheated equipment, and we assisted with removing smoke from the substance. The next item on my list is going to be something that President DeCipio is going to discuss. So, President DeCipio,
Thank you, Trustee Caputo. Actually, I'm going to turn it over to Attorney Jerusek.
Tonight, we were going to consider the adoption of a contract with Zoll Medical Corporation for the purchase of 2 new cardiac monitors, defibrillators. We're going to ask that the board table it to the next meeting. The documents, both Zoll's documents and the village's vendor contract and its rider, have gone through staff review, our legal review, village attorney review, and staff review at the Zoll Corporation. Unfortunately, their legal team did not wrap up their end of the legal review, and so we were hopeful by the end of this week, yesterday, that we get a green light from them to take action on it. We haven't gotten that yet, so we're good with everything. Staff at Zoll is good with everything. They're just waiting for their legal team to bless the documents. And so, again, staff's recommendation is motion to table to the next meeting, then we should be ready to bring this back and take action on it.
thank you, Attorney Jerusek. I'm fine with that, and that concludes my agenda for the night.
Trustee Caputo, just make a motion to postpone the vote on this
Thank you,
subject
sorry.
until next
I
meeting.
make a motion to postpone this motion until we have further documentation we need to vote on it.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion and second. Discussion, seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diafario?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Trustee Caputo. Moving on to Finance, Public Works Committee, Trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. For February, we had repaired 3 water main breaks, replaced 1 lead service line. Snow operations continued with a total of only 2 minor events. Public Works responded to and used 18 tons of salt and treated 93 miles of village roadways. Bless you.
God bless you.
Pothole work has increased drastically this month, along with temporary patching from water main breaks. The cycle pruning program was performed this month by D. Ryan Tree Service. All trees in the center section north of 31st were trimmed. Staff continues to update data of our total lead service inventory. Specified addresses are being left letters to schedule appointments for service material inspections. Street sweeping was performed due to above average temperatures. Public Works staff participated with village staff to inform local groups about the upcoming road bond referendum. Staff began to review applications for the open DPW maintenance worker position. Staff attended Public Works Steering Committee spring planning meeting at IRMA. GIS work has continued collecting data on village-owned assets along with continued training throughout the village. Water meters were read in all sections. 15 monthly bacterial samples were taken along with 4 stage 2 samples. Various water and sewer work orders were completed along with resident tree concerns and general construction inquiries. Routine maintenance of the department's fleet and equipment was completed as well as on police and fire vehicles. I have one action item. 25-26 emergency water system repairs. Every year the village seeks a contractor to perform emergency repairs to the village's water main system when staffing resources are limited. This past winter season proved especially challenging for Public Works due to the high number of water main breaks, snowfall events, and the completion of leaf pickup operations, resulting in a greater need for outside assistance. You see the bill amount that came in for 1200 Blanchard, 31st in Barnesdale, 736 Spring, 416 Kemen, 1524 Robin Hood, for a total of $40,117.50. With that being said, staff recommends approving a resolution authorizing and waiving the competitive procurement process and approving the payment of invoices of Unique Plumbing Company for emergency water system repairs, as the work has already been completed on an emergency basis, plus Unique Plumbing has the ability, capacity, and skill to promptly perform this type of emergency work and provide its emergency repair services within the time specified without delay or interference. And Unique Plumbing has prior experience with the village and delivers high quality work and efficiency in performing such services. Therefore, make a motion to approve a resolution approving the waiver of the competitive bid procurement process and authorizing the approval of vendor invoice service issued by Unique Plumbing Company for the completion of certain emergency water system repairs and authorizing the expenditure of village water funds in the amount of $40,117.50 to pay for such repairs.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion, trustee Sheehan?
Thanks, Mr. President. Yeah, I mean, they picked up the phone when we called, when we need them for emergency. I commend staff for Public Works for the hard winter we had. I mean, they threw everything, plus the kitchen sink at you guys, and you responded admirably, so I commend for that. I support.
Any other comments from the board? Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diafario?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan.
That completes Public Works.
Thank you, trustee Sheehan. Moving on to Finance Committee, trustee Lautner?
Thank you, Mr. President. From the finance area this evening, I have 2 items. First, the financial update for February of 2026. We are 83% of the fiscal year through May 1. So at this point, fiscal year to date general fund revenue is $8,453,685, and that's 69.3% of the annual budget, and $690,719, or 7.6% lower than last year. The decrease again is primarily due to the delay with Cook County issuing property tax bills and lower interest revenue. Property tax receipts of $1,931,131 are $848,569, or 30.5% lower than last year. Cook County mailed first installment property bills for 2025 in early March with a due date of April 1, a month later compared to prior years. Other local taxes are at $930,197 and 4.5% greater than last year. Intergovernmental receipts of $3.6 million are up 1.9% from last year. Sales tax and income tax continue to trend higher, while use tax and personal property replacement tax are lower than last year. The state use tax decline was anticipated due to sales tax legislation, which moved taxes on some out-of-state and online purchases from the use tax to the state and local sales taxes. However, the decline is significantly more than expected. Combined sales and use tax receipts are trending slightly lower than prior year. Licenses and registration fees of $274,104 are $29.25 or 1.1% greater than last year. Our permit receipts of $401,164 are $78,649 or 24.4% greater than the prior year. Our permit revenue is at 57% of budget and is expected to end under budget for the fiscal year due to the timing of planned projects moving permit revenue into next year. Charges for services of $884,723 are $125,681 or 16.5% higher than last year, and that's due to ambulance service receipts and the timing of water tower lease payments. Fine revenue of $117,222 is $1,020 or 0.9% less than last year. Miscellaneous revenue of $310,191 is $156,077 or 33.5% less than last year, and that's due primarily to lower interest revenue. Interest rates are declined over the past year following rate cuts by the Federal Reserve, and additionally, general fund cash reserves are lower due to the delay in property tax bills and transfer to the sewer fund in the prior fiscal year to support the Central Area Sewer Separation Project. Total general fund expenditures of $9,028,139 are at 7.3% of the annual budget, and $449,074 or 5.2% greater than last year. And importantly, all departments are within budget expectations. And I do have one item for discussion and voting, and that's regarding the bond levy abatement for 2025. Background on this is the village's 2025 property tax includes a levy for the 2016 road and fire bonds approved by the referendum. The levy was included in the bond ordinance approved by the village board when the bonds were issued in 2016. The debt service for 2025 is $1,249,500, and Cook County will add 5% loss factor to ensure adequate funds are available to pay the debt service. Due to the 5% loss factor from prior years and interest income, the village currently has a balance in the debt service fund above the amount needed for paying principal and interest. As a result, the village board may abate a portion of the 2016 bond levy for 2025. The late distributions of property tax by the county delayed the determination of the annual abatement recommendation this year. Due to the additional distributions received since the March 10th work session, staff is now recommending an abatement amount of $99,500, which along with the loss factor will maintain a sufficient balance in the debt service fund. Staff certainly recommends the village board approve the attached ordinance at tonight's meeting. So I'd like to submit a motion to the board, and Mr. President, submitting a motion to approve an ordinance abating a portion of the taxes heretofore levied for the year 2025 to pay debt service on general obligation corporate purpose bonds, Series 2016 of the Village of Grange Park, Cook County, Illinois.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion. Trustee Laudner?
A no-brainer. Yes, we need to abate it, and I'm anxious to receive the funds.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Laudner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diafario?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan.
And that concludes the items from the finance area this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Laudner. Thank you, Trustee Laudner. Okay, moving on to other reports. Village Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Our Village Treasurer.
No report tonight, Mr. President.
Our Village Engineer.
No report tonight, Mr. President.
Council.
No report tonight.
In Commercial Revitalization, Trustee Zora.
Yes, thank you. I have a few items to report. The village hosted the second public open house for the 31st Street Corridor Transportation Plan on March 18th at Fire Station 2, and I'd like to say it was well attended and staff did a great job, and so did Kinley Horn. This drop-in event gave residents a chance to explore preliminary recommendations and share ideas that will help shape an emerging vision for improving safety, accessibility, and the overall experience along 31st Street and Barnesdale Road. Thank you to everyone who took the time to stop by, ask questions, review the concepts, and offer thoughtful feedback. Your input plays an important role as the plan continues to be refined. Exhibits shared at the open house are now available for viewing on the village's website. The public comment period is open through Friday, April 3rd, so those of you who could not attend still have the opportunity to review the materials and share their thoughts. To submit comments or ask questions, please contact village staff at 708-354-0225. The village is also accepting applications for the facade and property revitalization program, which assists property and business owners who aim to enhance the external appearance of their properties. In order to be eligible, a building must be used for commercial purposes and must be located within one of the village's TIF or business districts. Visit the village's website for more information. And finally, the next commercial revitalization committee meeting will take place on Thursday, April 9th at 9 a.m. at Village Hall. Upcoming topics include the 31st Street Corridor Transportation Plan, as well as future streetscape projects around the Village Market Shopping Center. Businesses and members of the public are invited to attend and provide input on how the village can best support new and existing businesses and enhance the commercial areas in LaGrange Park. And thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Zora. Motion to approve committee and collectors reports as reported.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, I just have a couple items. Julie and I attended the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus quarterly meeting on Friday. A few interesting topics is what led us there. One was housing, and the second one was the LGDF. All I can say is I think we've got a big ride ahead of us to try and persuade our legislators of the right thing to do here. I want to thank everyone for the open house that Trustee Zora just mentioned, which was last Wednesday. I thought it was a great turnout. I want to thank staff for all your hard work in doing that. And then, most importantly, the referendum. I want to thank every one of you that have participated and spoken to our residents and presented to our residents. It's amazing that the first time we went through this, we were approved by 75% for both referendums, and this time it was 79%. So I really believe, and I believe this truly, that our residents trust what we're doing up here and what you guys are doing down there. And I think it's a good message to all of us that we work hard, we're honest, transparent, and we do the right thing for our residents. It will show later on. So I want to thank everybody involved, Julie especially, who was the forefront in presenting to the community out there on the exemplary job she did. And it shows by the results. And everyone down here too, obviously. With going to the quarterly meeting, it brings up the April 29th IML Lobby Day. I encourage any trustee that can find time to come down. We leave on Wednesday morning, come back Thursday. It's just one day, one night. We go to the Capitol, we meet with our legislators, we have lectures that were presented with by the IML. But most importantly, this time, especially with the way the budget is appearing to be with the housing and the LGDF, I think it's imperative that we all try to get down there and speak to our legislators and urge them to reconsider what their proposal is. That's all that I have. Right now, I'd like to open up any public participation of non-agenda related items.
Robert Consul. I've got two items. The first is related to flooding. Since we'll be entering a time of more rain and storms, there's a good chance we'll be seeing standing water in our streets due to street drains being clogged from tree branches and other debris. When talking to our Public Works Director and our village engineer at the open house discussing the road referendum, I asked if it is a good idea for residents to unclog street drains, because I had heard that it's not good because it helps slow down the amount of water discharging to Salt Creek. If there's too much water in our sewers, it could cause them to become overloaded and start entering people's basements. So if this is the case, I was hoping that there could be mention of this in a weekly e-briefs and a leaflet explaining this situation to residents, that it's better to have standing water on the streets versus in their basements. So I don't know if Rick and maybe Mark can talk to the village and personnel and see if we can add something in there just to kind of give a warning to the residents that this is not being proactive, it's actually being detrimental, would be causing water to come into their basements. So that was the first item. The second item is related to LGDF. So I've spoken to the last two previous meetings and would like to follow up. Today I sent a letter to all 118 State House representatives via email. I'll be sending the same letter to all 59 of our state senators. Although this will be more difficult as none of the senators list an email on the government website where they can be contacted, but they can be contacted by opening their own web pages and filling out a contact form. I'd like to read the letter that I wrote just so everybody's up to date with it. So this is to the House of Representatives. Dear Honorable Illinois House Representative, In Governor Pritzker's State of the State address on February 18th, he stated and mocked that the federal funding cuts have cost people of Illinois $8.4 billion. When Donald Trump has taken resources away that are rightfully ours, none of us, Democrats or Republicans, should be okay with that, quote. He further stated, quote, if you want to talk about our fiscal year 2027 budget, you must first demand the return of the money and resources this president has taken from the people of Illinois. It is noted that when presenting his $56 billion spending plan, it is balanced with the help of $649 million in tax increases and tweaks, $60 million of this from the Local Government Distribution Fund. As you should know, local government sharing was created as part of a deal to enact Illinois' first state income tax in 1969. From an article in the Illinois Policy Institute, in exchange for giving up the ability to levy their own local income taxes, municipalities and counties were promised 1/12 of all income tax revenue, distributed by population. Then in 1970, this was reduced to 1/12 of net income tax collections, reducing the LGGF further. In 1995, the LGDF was 10% and currently has been reduced to 7%. While 3% reduction may not seem like a lot, it is. Over the last 12 years, local governments have lost $10.9 billion in revenue as a direct result of lowering the LGDF. For the village of Grange Park, while I am a resident, based on a calculator in the article, this cost the village $11.5 million, or approximately $960 per thousand per year. For a village of approximately 13,500 residents, this is a lot of money. We're faced with an unfunded mandate of $23.5 million to replace our lead water lines over the next 10 to 17 years. We had to pass a $10 million road referendum 10 years ago to keep our roads drivable, and just recently passed another 10-year, $10 million road referendum to repair additional deteriorated roads. This will be an ongoing cost to the village. $960,000 in lost annual revenue a year is about the amount we need to keep just our roads in serviceable condition on a continuing basis. These costs are being paid by our residents in the form of additional taxes, both on our real estate tax bills and on our water bills. This does not even address the cost of all the other administrative unfunded mandates previously passed that we need to comply with for police training, reporting, firefighter safety, workers' compensation, FOIA and Open Meeting Act compliance, employee benefits and HR rules, etc. Now, to add to this existing budgetary issues we have, Governor Pritzker is proposing to take another $60 million from Illinois municipalities to balance the current budget, which will further decrease our share of the village funding to meet all these unfunded mandates and future infrastructure costs and any new unfunded state requirements. We already pay one of the highest amounts for real estate taxes in the nation. How much more can we afford to pay? In his remarks about losing $8.4 billion from federal funding, what about the $10.9 billion the state has kept from LGDF, which was promised to the municipalities of Illinois? The governor pitched the budget as being affordable, but for who? It's certainly not for residents like me who are retired on fixed income, relying on pension and Social Security benefits. It's been reported that 1 in 10 homeowners in Cook County could not pay their second installment of their real estate taxes. This is not a good sign. The continued cutting of LGDF affects every single person in the state of Illinois. It is totally nonpartisan, affecting Democrats, Republicans, independents, those who vote, those who not vote alike, no matter what your race or nationality is. The budget should be based on affordability for all our residents. Only you as our representatives have the power to reject this new budget balancing tactic when you discuss it in your upcoming budget sessions. I hope you can see what this is doing to your hope you can see what you're doing to your constituents' financial stability and vote against further cuts to it. Rather than making cuts, steps should be taken to restore the LGDF to what was originally promised to municipalities when it was first enacted. Thank you for taking the time to read this. And sincerely, my name, address, and all that kind of stuff. So thank you. I do plan on sending it to the Senate, but it's more difficult because as I've gone through the government listing, all the representatives basically have an email contact list, but none of the senators do. So I was able to contact the senator by Googling his name, and then there's a contact form to fill out. So basically, I filled it out and cut and paste my letter in that. So there's 58 more to go. So thank you.
Rob, thank you so much for all your work.
Mr. President?
Trustee Sheehan?
For those watching at home, and those on the board, could we follow up with Rob's first question? What's the thought on the leaks in the clogged gutters right now?
I think we can discuss that and staff can get back to Rob.
Okay, so the residents too that are watching at home and will watch it on YouTube later? Something will be posted?
Well, I think the staff needs time to look at the options that we have.
Okay.
Unless Rick or Julia is prepared to come forward with something at this point.
In a nutshell, we had talked about this the other day, Mark and I. We actually spoke to Madeline, our communication director. We spoke to Maggie and Julia that we are going to be looking at doing about a 3 to 5 minute video that we can post online about our sewer systems to address some of those concerns about why we do feel that it is worth it to have some of the water on the street. You know, it's actually holding back. It's allowing to provide some capacity when needed. So I think in the future, we're going to be looking at doing that. We're hoping to maybe have something rolled out in the middle of the summer that we could put on, you know, on our channels and have it broadcast.
Thanks, Rick.
We good? Okay, moving on. Public participation, we had that already. Any new business? Seeing none, motion to move
So moved.
to close the agenda items. Second,
Second.
all those in favor? Meeting adjourned.
I submit.
Thank you.